Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our biology class. And today I'm gonna talk to you about ecology. And this chapter talks about the biosphere, the ecosystem, and its communities, populations, and humans in the biosphere. So, for the big ideas, we're going to talk today about matter and energy and interdependence in nature. So, we already know from the first one, this reference is for biology textbook that we use in our class. So, matter and energy, right? We'll be talking about matter and energy and interdependence in nature. So we know that our Earth is a living planet and this on which all forms of life are linked to one another. You know that. And to the land, water, and air as well. So through those links, the energy flows and matter cycles in patterns that support life, including human society. Right, so we know this enough to realize that they are changing. Yes, everything changes due to human activity in ways that we don't understand sometimes. And our challenge today is to study our impact on the biosphere and plan for a healthy future. So we will talk about matter and energy and interdependence in nature. How do Earth's living and non-living parts interact and affect the survival of organisms? So as you can see here, there's a great white egret in Florida Everglades. I've been to Florida and it's so nice to see these kinds of animals. Okay, plants in the Everglades. As you can see here, they are interrelated. This egret depends on plants and animals for food, and this environment here also depends on this animal for carbon dioxide and all of those. So they are interdependent with one another. So, as we all know, in our book, we always have the mystery, right? So, as you can see here, in Rhode Island, Narragansett Bay, they can see that the marine life there is changing. Why do you think? One clue to those changes comes from fishing boat captains. Okay, who likes fishing here? I know you do. I do as well. So those fishing boat captains were able to boast about catching bluefish in November, a month after those fish used to head south for winter. And catches of winter flounder, however, are not as plentiful as they once were. Why do you think? These changes in these fish populations in this area coincide with the disappearance of the annual spring increase in plant and animal growth. Why do you think so? So, according to researchers who are working in the bay, puzzling changes in the activities of bacteria living in mud on the bay floor. There were changes in the bacteria population. So, why are there so many changes to the base plant and animal population? Could these changes be related to mud-dwelling bacteria? So we will read through this chapter and we will know, okay? As in this um, podcast, this YouTube video, never stop exploring your world, okay? In science, we never stop exploring our world. Okay, we have to find out about Narragansett Bay, and this is just the beginning. All right, so we'll be talking about what ecology is today, what are the species, population, community, um, ecosystem, biome. So those are what we're gonna learn today. So let's talk about um, Louis Thomas. He was a 20th century science writer who was sufficiently inspired by astronauts' photographs of Earth to write, "Viewed from the distance of the moon, the astonishing thing about the Earth." Right, so um, what does this mean by then when Thomas said that? Okay, was Thomas reacting to how green Earth is? Was he talking about how you can see moving clouds from space? What do you think? How is Earth in scientific sense, a living planet? And how do we study it? So we will study about the biosphere. What is a biosphere? Okay, this um, consists, okay, from the word bio means life. This consists of all life on Earth and all parts of the earth in which life exists, including the land, water, and the atmosphere. Okay? The biosphere contains every organism from bacteria living underground to giant trees in the forests, to the whales in polar seas, to the mold spores drifting through the air, and for us humans. So biosphere extends from about 8 kilometers above the Earth's surface to as far as 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. So we will be defining species. Species is a group of similar organisms that can breed and produce fertile offspring. Species. Example, the fish or this mm, animal here is an individual. We call it a species. Next is when this group of individuals that belong to the same species live in the same area, so they are called population. However, when there is these different populations that live together in defined area, they they are grouped together. Different populations, they're called community. And when we speak of ecosystem, it is all the organisms that live in a place together with their physical environment is called an ecosystem, right? And when we talk about biome is a group of ecosystems. So this is a little bit higher level now. It's a group of ecosystems that share their similar climates and typical organisms. We will be learning them one by one as we go through our lesson. And the last one is our entire planet with all the organisms, physical environments. We call it the biosphere, where all life is there. I want you also to remember biotic and abiotic factors. Okay, biotic factors are those living parts of the environment with which an organism might interact, including animals, plants, mushrooms, and bacteria. They interact. Okay. So biotic factors relating to a bullfrog, for example, might include algae. It eats as a tadpole. Then insects, it eats as an adult. Then herons that eat bullfrogs and other species that compete with the bullfrogs for food or space. So biotic factors, those are the living organisms, just like this picture here. We have this sample. We have plants, the birds, this egret, all the frogs, the fish in the ponds. Those are biotic factors, and the abiotic factors are those non-living part of the environment. What are those examples? Here in the picture, we have the sunlight, we have the clouds, we have the soil type, and water currents, and so on. Okay, so we talk about that already in our class. In ecological studies, we use observation. We observe as a scientific method. Two, we observe what is, okay, where the species live, how many individuals the species are there. Other observations, I will go over some of the labs or surveys of this ecology as we go through our lesson. Okay, the field work. It's fun, guys. It's fun if we do this one. Next, we observe the nature, okay, how the animal is being protected from young predators and so on. We do experimentation to test our hypothesis or our smart guess, our intelligent guess. And we have also modeling Okay, like the effects of global warming on ecosystems, so we can kind of model it, that occur over such long periods of time or over such large distances that they are difficult to study directly, so we can model it. We can use different methods. We talk here in this lesson about energy producers and consumers. So what are producers? Producers are those that can make their own food. Examples are the plants. Okay, we have this word autotrophs. They are, okay, like the algae, bacteria, and plants. They can capture energy from sunlight or chemicals and convert it into forms that living cells can use. They are called autotrophs. Okay, they produce food by assembling inorganic compounds into complex organic molecules. Okay, autotrophs. Auto means they can store energy in forms that make it available to other organisms that eat them. Okay, so autotrophs, it can be called primary producers, or the first producers, that are energy rich compounds. We have also this word, okay, another word for autotroph is self-feeder. Okay, self-feeder, it's the Greek word trophikos, meaning to feed, right? So next one, we get energy from the sun through photosynthesis. This is the process of food making in plants. What about chemosynthesis? This is the process wherein chemical energy is used to produce carbohydrates. And these chemosynthetic organisms are not only found in the deepest or darkest ocean. However, these several types of chemosynthetic producers have since been discovered in more parts of the biosphere than anyone expected. So you can see here in 3.5 some examples. Okay, so this light energy, because this is photosynthesis, and this is chemosynthesis at the right side using chemical energy, even in the deep sea oceans. Okay, chemical energy, carbon dioxide plus hydrogen sulfide plus oxygen, it will form to carbohydrates plus sulfur compounds. But when we say photosynthesis, it uses carbon dioxide and water plus the light energy from the sun to produce carbohydrates plus the oxygen. So we also would like you to remember heterotrophs. Heterotrophs, these are organisms that acquire energy from other organisms. By what? By ingesting them in one way or another. Or another word for heterotrophs are consumers. Again, autotrophs are the self-feeders, or they can make their own food, while heterotrophs, they are consumers. Okay, and they rely on other organisms for energy and nutrients. That's heterotrophs. Okay, so another word, okay, types of consumers, we have carnivores that eats only meat. Examples are the snakes, dogs, cats, and giant river of otter, right? They eat meat. They kill and eat other animals. But when you say herbivores, they only eat plants, okay? Or plant eaters. They eat leaves, roots, seeds, or fruits. Okay, examples are cows, caterpillars, and deers. But when we say omnivores, they are animals that eat both meat or animals and plants. Okay, examples are humans, bears, pigs, and these white-nosed codi are called omnivores. But when we say scavengers, they are animals that consume those carcasses of other animals that have been killed by predators or have died of other causes. So they are scavengers, just like the pigs. They are scavengers that eat those dirt and those dead plants and animals. They're called scavengers. In the sea, we have those crabs. We have decomposers. They are bacteria, and fungi,